All right, let's jump right in. We're about to connect a dusty, old 19th century factory floor to, believe it or not, your online presence today. And I promise it's going to completely change how you think about AI. Seriously, what if posting more, creating more content, and just trying to flood the algorithms isn't the answer? What if the real key isn't about frequency, but something much, much older? To really get why this old idea is so important today, we've got to travel back in time. And I mean way back to the very beginning of the 19th century.
Okay, so picture the scene. It's January 1801. The inventor, Eli Whitney, is standing in a room packed with skeptical government officials, and he's about to pitch an idea that just sounds, well, completely impossible to them.
You have to understand, back then, every single musket was its own unique piece of art, custom craftsmanship. Which sounds great, right? But on a battlefield, it's a huge problem. If a tiny part broke, say a firing pin, you couldn't just swap it out. Nope, the whole gun was basically junk until a gunsmith could hand-fit a brand new part. Armies literally carried spare guns, not spare parts.
So Whitney's idea was just radical. What if a trigger from one gun could fit perfectly into any other gun? The officials, they pretty much thought he was crazy. To them, real craftsmanship meant custom fitting. Period. And this is where it gets good. He brilliantly proves his point. Right there in front of everyone, he takes 10 guns completely apart, throws all the pieces into one big, messy pile, and then, piece by piece, he assembles 10 perfectly functional muskets from that random jumble of parts. The demonstration was so powerful, the room just went dead silent. He'd done it. So, what on earth does a 200-year-old manufacturing story have to do with AI and your visibility online? Well, as it turns out, it's the core lesson we've all been missing. It's everything. This quote right here, it's the perfect bridge. See, AI isn't just sitting there with a clicker, counting how many times you post. It's acting like Whitney in that room, searching for matching, interchangeable parts to build a complete, coherent picture of who you are. And this is the crucial takeaway. Whitney didn't succeed by making more parts than anyone else. He succeeded by making the exact same part, perfectly, every single time. That standardization is what allowed everything to scale. It's what enabled recognition. Okay, so let's bring this idea smack into the present day. Because honestly, right now, most businesses are operating in a state of digital chaos that looks a whole lot like that pre-Whitney workshop. And this chaos, it has a name. It's called identity drift. It's what happens when you describe yourself just a little bit differently across the web, creating a bunch of disconnected fragments that completely confuse any AI trying to figure you out. You can see it right here, plain as day. On one platform, you're a marketing consultant. On your website, you're a brand strategist. And on Twitter, you're a storyteller. Now, to you, that might show you're versatile. But to an AI, it sees what's on the right. 3 totally separate, unrelated things that it has no idea how to assemble into one person. So how do we fix this mess? How do we escape this digital chaos? Well, the solution, once again, comes from taking a lesson from our friend Eli Whitney. The answer is identity consistency. This isn't an accident, it's a conscious decision. It's about deliberately engineering identical signals everywhere, giving the AI the matching parts it desperately needs to see you as one single, authoritative entity. So think back to our example. Those different titles, consultant, strategist, storyteller, they're the enemy here. They are the custom-fitted parts that can't be swapped out, and they're preventing any kind of scalable recognition by AI. So the answer is to create what we can call a fusion node. This is your one standardized, perfectly engineered identity component. It's your name, your category, your definition, and you use it everywhere with zero variation. Now, this isn't just some high-level theory. It's a totally practical process. You can actually engineer your identity for AI, and here's exactly how you do it. Here's the model broken down into 4 simple steps. First, you audit. You go out and find every single inconsistency. Second, you standardize. That's when you create that one perfect fusion node. Third, you deploy it. You go everywhere and replace all the old versions. And finally, you enforce it with regular check-ins, say quarterly, to make sure you don't drift back into that chaos. So the most critical things you can do right now are these. Update all your profiles at the same time. Use the exact same description, word for word. And then lock it in on your website's backend using something called schema markup.
You can think of schemas kind of like a hidden label or an instruction manual that speaks directly to search engines and AI in their own language, telling them exactly who you are.
And when you start thinking this way, the entire math of online visibility gets totally flipped on its head.
Forget what you thought you knew. Just three perfectly consistent interchangeable signals across three platforms, well, that's way more powerful and it creates way more trust with an AI than 30 different messy, inconsistent posts. It's not even close.
And here's the real game changer. AI isn't just adding up your mentions one by one. The value of each mention actually gets multiplied by how consistent it is with all the others. This consistency creates this incredible compounding effect. And that leaves us with one final question to really think about. Are all of your efforts online building a single, strong, recognizable identity that an AI can easily assemble? Or are you just creating a big pile of mismatched parts? The choice really is yours.